Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, 2-run shot to right. From Deptford High School at Joe Corby and Jim Hawkins Stadium, it's Wednesday afternoon Tri-County Soccer between two big programs with only 4 losses between them in the 2025 campaign. It's the Washington Township Minutemen and the Deptford Spartans here from, again, Corby Hawkins Stadium on a beautiful Wednesday fall afternoon. I'm Dan Wilkins. I'm joined by Chase Parson on the call today, the Cinnamon grad. This is going to be a good game between two teams that, despite being in the Tri-County Conference together, don't have any prior history, but do have a lot of prestige here in the 2025 campaign.
It's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams go at each other. You know, both of them have won their division already, so this is just for PowerPoint purposes. Speaking of PowerPoints, the cutoff is this Saturday. This is the last game for Deptford to try and jump up a spot. They are currently sitting in 8th with a record of 11-4-2 and an 8th spot, which sounds pretty good, but, you know, just like you were just saying off the air a couple minutes ago, kind of with football PowerPoints, the soccer PowerPoints don't really make much sense. I haven't really dug into it much, but I'm sure there's a mathematical way to do it there. But for Township, this is to boost some morale. They got Lenape on Friday or Saturday for Coaches Cup. It's Saturday morning for Coaches Cup. 3rd seed versus the 14th seed. They clinched the 3rd seed this weekend. So this is just a game for morale. For Deptford, this has much more meaning than them.
Well, for Deptford, the player to watch far and away will be Kenny Cockrell, the senior. 24 goals, 6 assists for him this year. Nobody else on Kevin Sherry's staff has more than 7, and that would be Jaden Duke, the sophomore. If anybody's going to bury the net tonight, it's going to be probably Kenny Cockrell. Obviously, Deptford this year, 48 goals so far on the 2025 season, but Washington Township's got a lot of great scores. They've kind of been sharing the love a little bit more. We saw them, I believe, 2 weeks ago versus Delsey on Washington Senior Night, and we saw goals from both their leading scorers, Sean Tarsatana and Aiden Anderson. Tarsatana with 19 goals, 18 assists. Anderson with 18 goals, 5 assists. But for Ed McCusker and crew, Washington Township's got a lot more to love. We were talking about Lenape and the Coaches Cup on Saturday. They close out the regular season with Eastern on Thursday. And we have to wait until November the 4th, my 20th birthday, to see when we will see the first round of playoffs. But there's a lot of teams that are settling in. There's a lot of teams that are getting ready. And speaking of getting ready, Deptford and Township are both talking to the officials on the near sideline. We're up here from the press box here in Deptford. Again, big thanks to Kevin Sherry for having us. But otherwise, this is going to be a great game, again, between two teams without any prior history. We'll take a quick break. We'll flip this camera around, and we've got 80 minutes of Tri-County Conference soccer right after this. Kevin Sherry meeting with his club, the 11-3-1 Deptford Spartans, champions of the Tri-County Liberty Division. They won earlier this month in October over the Cumberland Colts, which was the last time that we saw Deptford play in the boys soccer scene here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, with all the way back in the first week of October that we saw the Spartans in a 0-0 tie versus Cumberland. So they come in today, again, 11-3-1, 8-1-1 in the Tri-County Liberty Division, and they're riding a 3-game win streak, scoring 10 unanswered, 4 versus Timber Creek, 6 versus Highland, both shutouts, and then a 3-1 win on Monday at Cumberland. This is their last regular season match, and again, with the cutoff date being Saturday, they'll have to see if this will be their last push for extra leverage in the 2025 boys soccer circuit. On the, I guess you could say, the neons for today, running the whistles, the referees today being Don Tash and Jeff Simonetti. And we're going to be ready. Washington Township in their road white uniforms. Deptford in their home black and gold uniforms. From the football turf of Jim Corby and Joe Hawkins Stadium, Deptford and Township lining up. First possession for Deptford, and we're underway. Headed down, Deptford with the possession. Number 9, Kenny Cockrell, over to the right side. And now fading over the middle, already looking like he's got some leverage and a save. Shot attempted by Ronnie Felix, number 11 for the Spartans. And coming down with that will be Township's goalkeeper. We were talking about what they've been able to accomplish this year in the goal with Gabe Stone, 83 saves for him in 15 matches this year. And the good thing about covering a game on a football field is that you can kind of have better guesstimates, better educated guesses on where these balls are coming from. Township's number 7, Tarsatana, fading past Angel Castellan. Out on the far corner. And unable to keep it in. Good defense that time by number 15, Christian Gonzalez.
It looks like the referee says he deflected it out of bounds. It's going to be a corner.
Corner for Township.
It's hard to call it from across the field. I mean, he had all those defenders in front of him.
This is one of the few games where we will have a better angle than the referees do because of where we are in the press box today. Here's the corner. Taken by Tarsatana. It's blocked, and able to save it and get it out is number 2, Anthony Schilling. Rolling out to about the 30-yard line where Tarsatana throws it in again for the Minutemen. And now Deptford looking to drive. Gets a lot of height on this ball. Deflected by Trey Egan. And now that one is tipped out. Last touch by, again, the aforementioned senior back, Trey Egan. Throw by the Spartans. Crowd filing in on this Wednesday afternoon, 62 degrees at opening kickoff on Wednesday, October 22nd. This will be our second to last regular season soccer game of the year, our last being on Monday in Cinnaminson between the Burlington Township Falcons and the Cinnaminson Pirates. Chase will be on the call for that one, a Cinnaminson grad himself. As the throw by Schilling is tipped up and out of bounds. And you can see the JV game going on in the background. It was a little bit confusing when we got here. Washington Township got off the bus before Township took their home field. So we had to make sure we were in the right spot. But this is our first time covering Deptford at home. As we mentioned, we covered them twice in the 2023 season. Once in a scrimmage versus Audubon and a second time on the road at Cumberland in late October of 2023. Over to left side for Felix. Now it's Cockrell, deflected by Robbie Finnegan. And now back over to Schilling. Deflected and carrying it around will be Owen Curran. And now left side towards the football end zone, unable to get it off. And the shot is deflected and out of bounds. Looked like a good baseline opportunity there for Enzo Castillo. For a Deptford team that started off 7-1. Had a 5-game win streak from September the 16th to September the 26th. 5 matches in 10 days, and they were able to get it done. Corner kick No good and sent out.
Tried to swing it back to the corner, just couldn't do it. Looked like it might have been a handball. Referee says no, it hit the upper arm. Out of bounds, it'll be a Deptford throw on the near side. That's Anthony Schilling throwing it in now, chested down. Brought it down. Looked like with his hand, referee had the whistle to his mouth, decided not to blow it. Cockrell looking, try to hit a deep shot, took a deflection and rolled right to the hands of Gabe Stone. He's just going to leave it short for his defender, trying to play it out of the back. Nice defensive pressure there. Washington Township, the last time we covered them, they did very well on the possessive side of the ball and able to release players like Anderson and Tarsatana, which is what they just did there. Anderson played it back, tried to feed Tarsatana, and now cleared out by Deptford. Couldn't get enough on it. Tried to play it through, just a miscommunication. Stone was talking to his defender before clearing it out.
And all issues are fixed. Thank
There
you,
you go.
Chase.
I got you.
He's a good backup man for us here. And again, being a 4-year varsity goalkeeper with
Three.
Cinnamon.
Yeah, 3.
Okay. I was being a little bit generous there.
I'll
Deptford
take the 4.
keeping the possession. Now over to number 10, Enzo Castillo. We talked about Kenny Cockrell having half of Deptford's goals this year. Now Cockrell has it over the right side, and Stone comes in for the save. And an overhand throw will reset the play as Township over on the far sideline. Defended well by Jaden Duke with 7 goals for the sophomore this year. He was able to come in and really beat the ball, beat a lot of speed that time, was able to outrun the Township midfielder as Castillo's kick gets headed down. Returned by Colin Furman for the Minutemen. And now a chance for Aiden Anderson. Second leading goal scorer for the Minutemen. Now he's trapped in the far corner. It gets deflected by Hayden Myers. And from what it appears, it looks like Township will have the throw, and it will be Tarsatana that will make the throw. Far side of the field, unable to get anything on that one either.
It's going to be another corner. It just deflected off of Anderson, tried to play it on the byline, just deflected off the defender, and it just narrowly hit the corner flag and ricocheted out for a corner.
Here's Tarsatana, sends it away, headed down. But now another cue shot off the field goal post, and it's no good. Oh, my goodness. He would have had 3 points if he got that one through. I'm just kidding, but that was a good shot that time. It is football season, and we were here at Deptford last week for a football game between Cherry Hill East and Deptford, a game that East won 42-0 over the Spartans. Spartans looking for a little bit of a better outcome this afternoon, as that one is a good shot from just in front of the goal. Castillo's got it. Good deflection to keep it going forward. Now over to Cockrell, left side. It's Castillo. He's got room. Deflected, or rather defended, by Finnegan. He turns his back to the defender. Now looks to deflect it out. He fakes, and Township keeps the possession. Tarsatana's got it, as that one looked like a good build-up for Deptford, but unable to finish. It's headed over on the right side. Going down is Anderson, able to keep this one up. No whistles on the play. And it stays alive for number 15, Hayden Myers. Looked like Castellan was in on that one. Now Deptford with the possession back. Left side for Castillo. He's got room. Fakes to the right. Keeps it on the ground. Got deflected there. Now another shot. Liner. And that one's off the field goal post.
It's a nice combo play with Castillo swinging it. The shot was, it looked like it was deflected back across the front of the goal. Cockrell just lays it off for Curran, and his shot just barely misses the top corner. What a goal that would have been.
We've had both attacks miss off the field goal crossbar. I mean, if that was the objective, you'd be getting phone calls left and right from the New York Giants, but unfortunately unable to do so in this environment. That one is sent down. Deptford with the possession. Right side, far sideline, sent away by number 12, John Collier. Now Cockrell's got it. Keeps it on the ground, but it kind of got deflected, didn't really get anywhere. Landon Heil is there. And now some room for Township here in the 10th minute of this first half. On the ground again. Owen Curran able to keep it alive. Still on the ground here. Deptford and Washington Township, both teams really seeming proactive on their offense, just not able to get a lot going early as the header from Egon to his goalkeeper, Stone. And Stone will roll this one in over to Cooper Frontato. Good kick. Deptford able to deflect it, though, and now it goes back over to Cockrell, and we start the process again. He keeps it on the ground, right side, and just not enough velocity on that one, and it would have been wide anyway. We remain scoreless.
Cockrell seems to just find a lot of space just outside the box in that little about 25-yard area to the top of the 18. He has so much space. He recognizes it. He just can't get the shot on target, but I bet a lot more times in this game we're going to see Cockrell take shots from distance like that.
There's a reason why he's accountable for half of Deptford's 46 goals this year, with 24 of them total as the senior. Now he gets it over. A lot of back and forth going on there. He deflects it over the Deptford defender, but the Spartans able to recollect. Now back over to the defenseman on the left side. And we've got whistles.
Looks like Kissy was offsides.
This will be one of the rare situations where we'll have kind of a better angle than the referees on the floor do. I remember when we were at Audubon and Pittman, we were at Alcyon Park, which has that elevated viewpoint, and I remember it kind of came up at a late point in the game. I think somebody was called offside, and you didn't agree with it, and we said, hey, we kind of have a little bit of a better view than they would down there because we've got 20, 30 feet on them. That one's a shot deflected hard by number 4, Ethan Cooney. And that'll go out to the far corner flag. Thrown in, stays in for Cooney, and he deflects it out, and Township will have another throw in close quarters. Here comes the throw over the middle. Township gets some footing on it, unable to get it down. Now Township does, and they send it far away. Far up and out of here. They're at least able to keep it in the premises there, as Township had a lot of power on that one from close distance.
Was it kept in? I mean, that ball that was being chased by the defender, that was kicked by the ball boy. I don't see the ball from where we're at.
I have no idea. Well, it'll be sent from inside the box by Anthony Schilling. Gets about 45 yards on the kick in the air. Now Township on the ground, rolling coast to coast to the left side. Now getting it over to Landon Heil, the midfielder. He's got some space. Not a lot of rushing. Now Township with a shot, right side, over towards Cole Belsanti.
And he couldn't keep it in play. Referee said it's going to be a throw-in on the near side.
Yeah, this will be a close throw-in here. Keeping it upright, Deptford outnumbering Township. Now some space and a good deflection there. Good deflection by number 15, Hayden Myers. As Deptford able to keep Township out of the box and keep Deptford out of danger here in the first half, and now a turnover. Opportunity for Deptford, but they're able to bring it over to Stone, who will go far to his left, and he'll pick this one up, an immediate roll to Frontato, the senior. Keeps it on the ground. Castillo tried to get a foot on it. Now Deptford's going to have some good close-range shots here. Castillo, 2 defenders on each side. Now it's turned over to Township, who brings it over to Heil. No substitutions yet on either side from what I've seen. been really, really fluid soccer so far, and we're 14 minutes into this first half. Although, as I say that, a penny comes off, and somebody's going to get ready to come in, being number 17, Wadi El Brody, for Washington Township. It will roll out on the far side, and we will have our first substitution of the game. Deptford's going to get in on the fun as well. So El Brody coming in for Township, and then for Deptford, it'll be Christian Gonzalez coming in for Anthony Schilling. Or no, rather, number 14. So he'll come in for Joel Kissy. So again, Gonzalez in for Kissy. And then El Brody came in. I couldn't tell who he took over for on the sideline. Unless it was number 1, Dan Sacca, not sure. But throw from the Township sideline. Anderson with a deflection. Back over. Good footwork to keep the possession theirs from Myers. And it's sent out by Curran. Now on the ground for Anderson. It'll roll out to the right. And goalkeeper Mason Henry will come up with that one. Mason Henry, the senior goalkeeper, 167 career saves, 59 of them this year in 14 games. He's actually kept somewhat of a clean sheet for a lot of the season. The most he's had are 12 saves versus Delsey in a 2-2 tie back on October the 6th. And had a couple of games where he had 5 or less. In fact, in his first 5 matches of the year, had less than 5 saves in each of them. That included a barn burner game versus Triton in which Deptford won 5-4. Deptford alone scored 4 goals in the second half to win that one over the Mustangs. Township with possession on the far side in their backfield. Gets it over the head, almost grazed John D'Antonio. He was the intended target, but it ends up turning over back to Deptford. Still possession on the left wing at the 50. Back over to Castillo. Outnumbered, tried to barrel through the traffic, but unsuccessful. And he'll kind of get hassled in the corner. Let's see here.
Referee says it's going to be black throw. Everyone thought it was going to be Township throw.
And I think McCusker's trying to get an explanation before the play resumes, but...
And now another offside call.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that was just kind of an interesting sequence of events. It seemed like Ed McCusker wanted an explanation that he never got as to why it was Deptford's throw, but now it doesn't really seem to be much of an impact because Washington Township has possession and they are driving. Over at midfield on the far side, out of play. So Deptford will get this ball turned over in their possession, in their favor. This one is headed down by Gonzalez. Good turnover there to prevent any space being left alone in Landon Heil. Almost a little friendly fire collision there. Colin Furman in on the possession. Township still rolling. Deptford able to get a deflection out their other way. But the last touch was by John Collier, and Washington Township will throw. Good defensive quarters there, and closing by the sophomore El Barati, who has 2 goals and 2 assists in his first full campaign under the varsity banner. Line drive, gets a lot of distance on it. Now it clears. But rolling over is the goalkeeper Mason Henry, able to get that one in. And able to prevent any kind of disaster over there for Deptford. This one's popped up. And now rolling along the near sideline. It'll be picked up by Schilling. Deptford throw. Off the chest of Heil, rather off of Furman. And now rolling along the near sideline is Castillo. He's outnumbered but able to burn through a lot of them. Now able to cut through the left side and able to find a space in the middle. He's not out of the woods yet, but now he deflects it over and out for Washington Township, able to keep the possession, as that possession ended in a bit of a whimper as Belsanti was able to keep a turnover in place. Now a bit of tangling and dangling over the middle. Anderson's got it. Backpedals to create a little bit of offensive space. Back to Colin Furman. He's got a chance. Rolls. He deflects it off of Deptford's defender in his backside, and it's able to stay in for Aiden Anderson. Now Deptford able to get it out. Still their ball, and unable to get a good angle on it, as it looked like Noah Tennyson. He had a good touch there, and it would have been a great turnover, but the ball just stayed straight, and he wanted it to curve right, and it goes out of bounds. This puts Township in really good position here during this offensive possession for Robbie Finnegan. Deptford got a touch, out of play. Finnegan to throw. Township on the ground. Anderson with space, but he's got so many Deptford defenders around him. Now Deptford's got to get it out of their own space. They got to make sure they don't make an accidental turnover into a goal. Finnegan's got room. Baseline shot and saved by Mason Henry. All of that buildup turns into a Deptford save, and we remain scoreless with halfway through the first half. 20 minutes down, 20 to go. It's Henry with a good boot. Got about 45, 50 yards on that one through the air. Landon Heil. Rather Furman. Far sideline for Township. And keeping close eyes on him hard was Tarsitana versus Anthony Schilling and Christian Gonzalez in the mix. Now it's Castillo. Again, he just keeps trying to cut through those Township matchups. They keep doubling him up, and he keeps getting shut down. And the shocking thing is he's not the leading goal scorer for this for this Deptford Township team. Township with space on the baseline and blocked by Tennyson. Goes out to about the 35-yard line on the football field, and now over to the far sideline. Township still with possession. Anderson now on the other side of the field. Got some room, looking for a spot, looking for some grace, and he didn't get it. Substitution coming in for Deptford, number 16, Terrell Thomas. And coming out is Christian Gonzalez. This will be sent away by Deptford. Goes over to Terrell Thomas, the newest substitution, but Township is going to be able to get this one away. And that one is out. Looked like a Township player briefly went down, but got up under his own power. This one is a boot. Looks like it's got some good distance to it, and it's blocked. Great block that time by Gabe Stone as he's able to deflect that one over the crossbar and keep this game scoreless.
That looked like one of those balls that you wanted to try and put an outswinging arc on it just to try and get it to anybody who it may be around the penalty area, and that just kept going straight. Gabe Stone made a great read on it, just put the fists up to tap it over the crossbar just to keep it out of any danger.
It's one of those situations where, you know, as me being a baseball guy, I got to think of an outfielder who's backpedaling to the wall. You know, when you see that yellow line or the golden line, as here comes another corner that's blocked. Another touch by Deptford. But when you're an outfielder and you see that warning track coming up on you, you're like, okay, I'm running out of room. And Stone not only has to deflect that ball and get it up and over, or at least save it for himself, he also has to be aware of where he's standing. And he knows where his space is. He knows where his box is. And he has to be aware of where he is at all times. And that was a really good read by Stone. And there's a reason why McCusker and crew are 13-1-2, and a lot of it's because of Gabe Stone. 83 saves for him in his second varsity season. Aggressive header. Brought over to the left side by Landon Heil. Getting together that time was El Barati and number 7, Jaden Duke. This will be a throw.
Looks like they brought back in, or they just brought in Dan Sacca. They took out Aiden Anderson on that quick break there.
And Maximo Maletta was the thrower for Township as we've got a whistle. Was able to regain that time. And now over to Frontano. Right side for Finnegan. Kind of an oddly shaped kick that time. Looked like he was fading away as he sent it out. And now here comes Finnegan back again for redemption. Gets blocked. Couldn't really get anything on it. Now Finnegan still trying to drive the ball with an aggressive spin on it. Now Finnegan taking it all for himself. That one's blocked by Deptford. And now this one's sent away. Castillo able to keep it in his grounds, in his circles. We'll see if Castillo tries to cut through the middle again. He's unable to. Now on the ground, right side, over the middle. Cockrell with a pass. Rolling up. Enzo couldn't get there. We'll see who had the last touch. This is going to be out towards the near corner flag on the left side with 15 minutes to play in the first half. But a really fluid first half for both of these teams. A lot of shots on goal, a lot of good opportunities, and a lot of close calls. Just haven't seen anything come of it yet. And these teams not having any history really makes it fun because, you know, if you look at NJ.com and it says, oh, the last time these two teams played, it was 4-0, it was 4-1, you know, maybe you're a little bit discouraged. But with this, even though these teams are only about 10 minutes, 15 minutes apart from each other, not even. These teams are probably less than 10 minutes apart from each other if you went from high school to high school in your GPS. But yet they have no prior history, at least dating back to 2010, which is when NJ.com started keeping records. This will be sent by Landon Heil. He will be lined up about 40 yards out. Here comes the kick. Left side. Got a good angle on it, but Township able to get it out and able to avoid Deptford from turning it over. They still have possession. Now sliding in, able to make the save. Now a slot and a goal! Washington Township gets on the board first. That was a great shot that time in close quarters. And the Minutemen lead this one 1-0.
That was a great
13:55 remaining.
Great composure from the Washington Township offense. It was bobbled around a little bit in the box, sent in, and then they just backheeled it right to him. And a great shot to the far post caught Mason Henry, out of his position, and a great shot to the far post. I would say, based on the warm-ups that I was looking at from Henry, I don't know why I keep wanting to say Mason Henry, the goalkeeper for Deptford, watching him in warm-ups, that was like a routine save for him. It might have been through some traffic in his angle, but it was a great shot and a great finish.
Yeah, I mean, we can always hound on goalkeepers for, you know, oh, that should be a routine save, that should be this, that, and the other thing, but they're on the ground and we're not. So, you know, we can obviously, with a bird's eye view, it complicates things a little bit. So even though Mason Henry gives up the goal there, Deptford's still looking like they want to stay in step for the last 13-ish minutes of this first half. A little bit of tangling. Township wants a whistle. They don't get it. As getting together was number 26, Aiden Cavone, and number 5, that being the aforementioned Owen Curran. Township with some space, still trying to drive. It's the aforementioned Cavone. No, it's Landon Heil again. Back over to Dan Sacca. You mentioned one of the newer substitutions prior to the goal. Now it's Cavone on the right wing. Sacca's got space on the ground, spinning, firing, and Mason Henry comes in with a save.
It's a great combination play from Sacca and Tarsitana. Tarsitana tried to just get a piece of it, a little bit of spin, a bit of skill. Just couldn't bring it down.
That was poetry in motion there for Washington Township. That just looked like it was about to hit a brick wall and you didn't know what was going to happen. And right there, Mason Henry making up for his mistake earlier just a couple minutes ago that led to the opening goal and keeps this game at a 1-0 lead for Washington Township. But again, this game being out of division, still in conference, but out of division, you know, when you have I went to Audubon. I was a Colonial Conference guy, and you only played 5 teams in your division every year, and then you would play everybody else once, but you would have probably at least 30 to 40% of your schedule blocked out for non-conference games. I'm looking at the Washington Township schedule, and they have only played, to my knowledge, 3 teams. Now, actually make that 4 teams that are not in their conference. They played Shawnee for their only loss of the year back on September the 8th. They played Absegami on September the 12th, Cherokee on the 27th, and Lenape on the 18th. Everybody else has either been Tri-County divisional opponents or Tri-County non-division opponents. This Township trying to get it out here. Now it's turned over. Chance for Castillo, left side. Again, just trying to cut through those defenders that time. Calzone falls on the ball. And now Township will have the possession. Hold on. Referee stopped the shenanigans there. Maybe they let it off too quickly.
I think the referee's just trying to tell him where the free kick should have actually been.
Probably should have been a little bit further back. I mean, it's a stereotype in soccer, but it's a true one that, you know, these players, they want to try to get every yard that they can. They want to try to get every foot that they can on these free kicks. And, you know, if you can try to sneak it past the referee for how far you can go and how far you can get away with, it's definitely a manageable strategy to have. But in this situation where the referee can kind of make mental notes of where the ball should be based off of the yard markers, it's a little bit harder to get away with. Mason Henry will send this one away. Again, he gets some really good distance on it. It's deflected by Cockrell over to Landon Heil. Now pushing off there, gets a big hit. And we'll have a whistle. Free kick for Deptford in really good position on the right wing. This is going to be a good opportunity for Deptford to try to tie this game. I believe Cockrell is taking the free kick, which would make sense. No, that's number 5. So that would be Owen Curran taking the shot. He's lined up at the 19-yard line on the football side. Here comes a shot. Oh, so close. Unable to get it. Castillo with possession now. He's trying to work at the baseline. He gets blocked, and it's out of play. But Deptford should have this possession still with under 10 minutes left in the first half. Substitution. Austin Tennyson in. Coming out is Terrell Thomas, so he gets a short shift on the pitch. Now it's over. Line drive. No good. A couple of Washington Township heads came in and took care of it. And now this one goes all the way over to midfield, far sideline. Deptford will have the throw. Again, they're going to try to get every foot, every yard that they can get away with. Township rolling out right side. A high arcing kick. Deflected. It was over to Noah Tennyson, and it's out of play on the far flag. And now 3 substitutions all at once coming in for Township. In is Belsanti, Furman, and Anderson. And then out is Cavone. Looks like Saka is out. And then El Barati is out as well. 8 minutes and counting left in the first half. Mason Henry will send this one away. Now over the middle for Deptford. Little pop-up that time. You could see Coach Sherry. He had his hands over his head. Could kind of see the future coming in front of him there. As now Cockrell keeps it on the ground. It's over to Castillo on the left side. They're 10 yards out. He's got some heavily defended space. Now tries to burst through the middle. Township will have free reign, and they kick this one back. Some power, and now back to the defensive line. Deptford able to retain a brief possession here, as Deptford has just really been playing back and forth with Washington Township here. Now it's over to Tarsitana. Anderson's got a lead on the left side. Deptford gets it out. He's ran over that time. No whistles. And a good pass that time on the far side from Tennyson to number 7, Jaden Duke, the sophomore, class of 28. On the ground for Township, taking their time here at the tail end of the first half. I mean, you still have 7 minutes left, but you definitely want to limit Deptford's possessions at this point. Any momentum that they may have going into the second half, you want to get rid of that, as now it's Anderson going up. Still with possession. Rolls it along the right side, parallel. Deptford has possession, and it's going to just be shoveled to Henry, who will be able to come in with it. Just kind of a complicated play there with everybody crowding the goalkeeper's space. Unable to really get anything going, as this one's popped up. Another good touch there as this one rolls over. On the ground for Furman. Back to Tarsitana. Township kind of in a stalemate here as they'll try to keep the possession in their hands. Back to Finnegan. On the ground, rolling up. Taking his time is Heil, left side. Kind of missed everybody there. He missed Anderson. The only guy he made contact with was the Deptford defender, John Collier. And it turns out he didn't have any contact with him. It went straight out of bounds because Deptford throws this one in. It's back to Collier on the far sideline. Over to Jaden Duke. Now Collier will have another throw a little bit further up. And he missed on that one. That's going to be a big turnover for Washington Township, as he was unable to get that throw in play at all. And that's one thing you got to have here late in the first half. If you're going to drive the ball, you got to do it right, and you just have to be a little bit more precise there. Didn't really try to spin it or anything. He just had a throw that went a little bit too flat and ended up going on the far track on the far sideline. On the ground. Looked like that touch was by Hayden Myers. The throw came in quickly. Landon Heil has it over the middle, over to Tarsitana. Makes a little contact and now deflects it backward with his back turned to the ball. It's now back over to Ronnie Felix. Out of play, a little contact there and a little bit of pressing action between Jaden Duke, or check that, number 8, Austin Tennyson, and Sean Tarsitana. Felix gets hit. Out of hold on here. They're going to say it's going to be Washington Township ball. They'll throw it in. Oh, wow, he kind of double clutched that time. Really got some good space. Deptford deflects, and it's out of play.
I agree with that referee decision. From our angle, of course, we have the better angle, especially on this sideline. Definitely looked like it deflected off of Deptford last. It was a little bit of a 50-50 tackle, and it just came off of them last.
And if you were down on the ground, it definitely would be a harder call to make, as this one's got room for Anderson. On the baseline, hits Henry. Henry's able to get it out. He makes contact.
It was still loose. Referee just blows the whistle, says there's a foul on Township.
I think because of that contact with Henry there, as Tarsitana came in, Anderson had a really close baseline shot. And now this will be sent out from the goalkeeper's box on a goal kick by Schilling. At midfield, deflects over. And now back all the way over to Owen Curran. Now it's back to Cockerell, back to Curran. On the ground, Curran, after the pass from Cockerell, the leading scorer for Deptford. Looking like they're going to set up for a close throw. Didn't really put a lot of power into that one, keeps it on the ground. Township's throw still creates some space for Deptford. 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Here from Corby Hawkins Stadium in Deptford. On the ground. Couldn't get any life on that one from Ronnie Felix. Township with a free kick. They're going to take their time on this one. They're also waiting for a substitution, but it's not going to be granted. On the ground over to Belsanti. Back to Furman, the senior. Belsanti back to Tarsitana, going coast to coast. Gets it past everybody, including Deptford's defender, Jaden Duke, and it's out of play. Minute 45 left in the first half. This one is popped up. Going to be a tough ball for Deptford. 3-on-1. He kind of gave himself up there, and he turns it over to Belsanti, and now to Landon Heil. Rolled over to middle. Anderson on the left side. No success there, but they're able to get, again, Township in a little bit of better space. Still going back and forth without really much momentum. Township does seem to be dominating the possessions here in this first half, but Deptford has had some sparks of electricity so far. A good deflection there. Finnegan trying to keep him out. They're unable to keep Cockrell out. The leading goal scorer for Deptford. Right on the line. Couldn't get it. And 1 minute remains in the first half for Deptford's last stand, at least before the break. Hold on.
I think the substitute was still on the field when he threw that ball. Yeah,
they went a little bit too quickly there. Well, they're running out of time as well because they've only got 45 seconds. That took 15 valuable seconds off the board. And remember, in New Jersey high school soccer, there is no extra time. It's just whatever happens, happens. After 40, we go to break, and after 80, we're done. Or overtime, depending on the score. Gabe Stone picks this one up. He's going to try to roll this one out as much as he can. 20 seconds. Boots this one up. Gets a lot of height on this one. That was a moonshot, deflected off of at least a couple of different players there, including Felix and Schilling. But now on the right side, they'll have 3 seconds. Not going to have any time, and that will end the first half as Washington Township with a 1-0 lead as a goal over the middle in close quarters in the 23rd minute was able to get Washington Township on the board. We'll take a look at that replay, and then we will send you to break here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting from Corby Hawkins Stadium. It's the Minutemen 1 and the Spartans 0 here on GWB.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well. The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside. It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need. And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives. If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research. Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah!
It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman. And if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear. Woo!
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Jersey is the number 2 seed. As we said, they beat Manville 19-0 in the first round, which was even larger than Audubon's 16-0 win over Paulsboro as the 1 seed in the first round. That one's hit out towards center field straight away. Oh, she misjudged it. Got over her head in center field. Now this one's got a chance to be 3 bases for Spire. She's flying around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is not in time. What a way to kick off a semifinal with an inside the park home run. Emma Spire, who will take her talents to the Great Danes after 2026, lights up the scoreboard with a fly ball that got misjudged in center field. To end the day for Luke Pokrovsky. Little pop-up, first base side, he calls for it, and for the first time in 33 years, the Charlotte Cougars will hoist the trophy and face Middlesex on Monday. 4-3, Cougars win it. And in the battle of green and gold, the trophy stays true with the visitors. What a finish! And Shalleck will pack their bags for Middlesex and the Blue Jays when the weekend turns around to Monday.
On the shortstop for this one. First pitch. There's a line drive into center field. That one is going to drop it. It's going to go to the outfield wall. 1 run will score. Spence is going to make a huge arc around third. She will score to make it 3-0. And here comes the runner to score. It's an inside the park home run for Ella Hayes to make it a 4-0 game. A 3-run inside the Parker to the 2. And this is going to bring up Andrew Petrick, who has a single in this game. And here's a fly ball popped up right field side. And it's fair. It's fair. They're going to throw to second for try to get this play. The force out. They got him, but the game is tied. How about it for Woodstown? They complete the comeback to make it 8-8. So now there is one out after Kubat let it fall in right, and because the bases were loaded, you know what? That's a very smart play. Excuse me, Goldberg is a shortstop tonight, but he had a 400 average in 2023 as a junior. A homer in each of his sophomore and junior campaigns, 331 career mark and a 430 career slugging percentage. And speaking of home runs, there's a fly ball to left, and it's gone! Devin Goldberg answers on opening day with a first pitch rocket to left, and it's 1-0 Bridgewater. We were just talking about the long ball, and he stomps on the plate, mobbed at home, and Goldberg, the leadoff man, with a swing of gold. It's 1-0. Ryan Nutley, who has
3 RBIs so far, is up on deck as here's a fly ball to center field, going back to the wall. It is gone! 3-run home run, Steve Schaefer. He rockets one out, and it's 9-2. First home run for Schaefer this year, the second hit at home by a Scarlet Raptor. Literally, they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the second game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score. Wow, that was good.
And it gets past everybody. Graham will go back to position with no goal scored. They'll count down the time out loud here. Out to the left. One final shot, and it gets through. How about a buzzer beater? How do you do? It's a lead extending goal for Justin Lewis. Welcome back here from Deptford High School, Deptford Township High School. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Chase Parson. It's a good Tri-County Wednesday afternoon matchup between the Washington Township Minutemen and the Deptford Spartans. Washington Township scored with 15 minutes remaining in the first half with a line drive goal by Sean Tarsitana. And the Minutemen lead this one 1-0. Tarsitana looks like he'll have one of the first touches of the second half as we move over with the shadows going over the turf field. One of the things we've talked about, we talked about Washington Township when we covered them 2 weeks ago. They had an abnormality in their schedule because they played their senior night versus Delsey, and they played on the football turf as opposed where they normally play at the Mount Royal Sports Complex, which is all natural grass. As a man down, stays up on it. Deptford in trouble. Now he goes down again. He fell on the, or thought he fell on the ball, but no. Looked like Joel Kesey that time. And it'll be a free kick for the Spartans as they'll have some good distance here on this first free kick and first foul of the second half. This will be sent by number 5, Owen Curran. This will be deflected back. Tarsitana wanted to get in there, but it will be deflected out. And now it's back over to number 12, John Collier. And now back over to middle for Township. They've got some good ball on this one. Township back to the midfield stripe. Over to Robbie Finnegan. 4 goals, 2 assists for Finnegan this year. As Mason Henry comes out, man down. And it'll be out of play. Thing about this turf field is that players who take falls are definitely going to take hard falls with there's not a lot of runoff. There's the sideline, which might be about 3 feet from the field of play, and then behind them is a hard track, as that will be in, but
that was Tarsitana.
Yeah, it's good.
It was in.
I think so. Yes, the clock stopped, so that's a goal, Washington Township. Sorry about that. I was confused about the timing of it all, and Tarsitana's going to have his second of the game.
It was a nice play. The throw came in. It kind of took a bit of a deflection.
That's what I was confused about.
It looked like it was heel flicked again. That's what they did on the first goal. This time it was in the air, and Tarsitana hit it on the volley, and it just took a bit of a redirect through, and it threw off Mason Henry, and he just couldn't get a nice read on it, and it falls into the back of the net.
Threw us off as well. Just 2 minutes into the second half, and the Minutemen take a 2-0 lead here in Deptford. So for Tarsitana, his second goal of the game, his 21st of the year. That brings him to 49 career goals and 131 career points. Aiden Anderson now looking to make another attack, looking to make something happen here. That one is deflected.
It was deflected by, looked like that might have been Tarsitana again. It just took a deflection off his own player. He was in an offside position. They're going to get that free kick coming out.
Looks like the ways that Deptford is getting scored on today is just in unusual ways where it's not really just a straight shot. It's really like a pinball machine where you've got to figure out where you're going. As now here comes another chance. Anderson hops over the goalkeeper, Henry, and no good on the right side. If you're just joining us here from Deptford, here at Corby Hawkins Stadium, this broadcast is brought to you by our good friends at Rowan College of South Jersey at Gloucester, the premier community college of New Jersey. Become a Roadrunner today for athletic recruitment by visiting rcroadrunners.com. And if you'd like to become a sponsor of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, you can send us an email with an advertising inquiry at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We'll send you a flyer with information on how to get involved in front of advertising for South Jersey's premier independent broadcast organization.
It's a great ball.
That is a great ball for Castillo that time. Gets it to the right side and no good. So close to lighting up the fireworks for Enzo Castillo that time. But it goes out of the back on the right side and no good. That was a close one. It was rolling so slowly, but you didn't know where it was going to land. Again, that velocity staying kind of constant when you're rolling along the turf instead of when you're rolling on natural grass. We talked about it last week, or we talked about it 2 weeks ago, Chase, because you were a 3-year goalkeeper at Cinnamon, and your home field is on natural grass, but every once in a while you'd have to play on a turf field. And you mentioned, and we'll just reiterate again for the viewers who didn't hear it last time, how different it is to be prepared for playing on a turf field compared to playing on natural grass. As now Tarsitana, this one gets deflected up. Castillo is up there. And now Township backpedals this time, but they've still got some good position here. Still trying to roll it over. Now it's Tarsitana again. Tries to queue up, tries to power up a good shot here. Now it's back. Line drive, saved on the ground by Henry on the shot. That had some good velocity by Landon Heil. But yeah, we were talking about that. The turf as a goalkeeper, what did you do, at least whether it's mentally or physically, to prepare for when you had the rare game that you had to play on a turf field?
Well, as a goalkeeper, you got to know that once it smacks the turf on a shot or a pass, it's just going to roll quicker and quicker. It doesn't slow down at all until, physics take over. But that's a scientific question that I don't know much about. But all I know is the science of the turf. It just keeps getting faster and faster, especially when your goalkeeper, they're hitting him as hard as you can. And then mentally, you got to know that it's coming way faster than you think it could on natural grass compared to, anything else. Like at our home field, it was a major difference. Speaking of an example for Morristown, they're always a player or a team that we would play every year, and they have a very nice turf field. And I thought it was shot. Never mind. But yeah, it's a very, very nice turf field. We play them every year, and being able to adjust to that is more physical than mental. You got to know that you got to get your body in front of the ball first compared to just flinging your body around trying to get any piece of it. You got to get in front of the ball first before making the save. But mentally, it's a big difference too.
And how often did you usually play on turf at Cinnaminson? Because I'm not too familiar with how many BCSL or even Olympic fields would have it. But couldn't be that often, right?
Yeah, not that often. Division games, it's all on grass. Northern Burlington, Burlington Township, and Delran, they're all on grass. So
we've all covered games there before, including at Burlington Township at I think it's the Shields Woods Park, something like that.
Yeah,
like that.
The elementary school for Burlington Township as well. They're all on grass, so it wasn't that often, but the rare occasion we played.
Oh, look at this. That was so close. Wow, that looked like that was going to pinball in on the headshot that time. But no cigar, and it remains 2-0.
It was Cockrell. He got up there just missing the near post. Gabe Stone had that covered, but it was a nice attempt there. And they've been knocking all game. Deptford has been striking, and they've been testing Gabe Stone this whole match. They haven't been able to put one away yet, but I can sense it. If you've been watching this from start to now, you've noticed how many shots they've taken on Stone and how many have either gone wide or right at him, but it's been great.
Hasn't been easy. They've been getting right on the doorstep. Now it's Aiden Anderson one-on-one. He's got one guy to get through. It's shot. And how about that for the read on the deflection that time? Mason Henry comes in for the save. That would be a difficult save for any goalkeeper there, as the initial shot and where it actually landed ended up being very different, and Henry had to react very quickly to get that one down, and he's able to do so to keep this game at 2-0. Deptford still hanging on to the possession. We're talking about how good they've been on the offensive side. Right side now for Cockrell. 24 goals for him. That's another shot. Now another one on the ground. Deptford able to keep it on the possession, and now it gets stopped on a whistle. Washington Township wanted a foul, and it looks like they got it.
They got the offsides. It looked like
offside.
It was Jaden Duke who just came from that offside position. He had that quick. He was the one who Cockrell was trying to find on that cross. Gabe Stone does very well there to break it up, and he just came from an offside position to stop the attack.
There's another opportunity that time, rolling around and making a couple spin moves is Owen Curran, and he's now able to advance the ball in the correct direction. Now Washington Township rolls over 3-on-1. The defensive back line able to save it. Now Tarsatana could not get past Castillo. And we're already 9 minutes down in the first half with a lot of action, rather in the second half with a lot of action already. That's a big hit. And
it could be that could be bad. That could be a red card. His foot came all the way off. Let's see what the referee says here. Oh, only a yellow card. He's being very lenient with that. Castillo jumps up, cleats exposed.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, take a look at it again.
They asked for the clock to be stopped at 30:39. While this is written down, let's take a quick look before we get back in it. Chase, you'll have a better look at this than I will. See if we can see this here.
Oof.
Oh.
Very lenient. He's trying not to get. It's the last game of the year for Deptford. You're trying to make a playoff run.
As the 8 seed right now in Group 4. That would definitely be, because correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't seen many red cards in high school play. A red card is an automatic, 1-2 game suspension?
I believe so. I believe it's an automatic 1. It might be 2, depending on the severity of it. I think some,
there's tiers to the red cards.
Yeah, like
basically.
referee abuse or verbal abuse or dissent or something could be 1 or 2 games. But for
well, here's Tarsatana. One more goal would bring him to 50 on his career. Rolling through. Heavy traffic deflected by Deptford. Township still on their feet. Now Tarsatana with another line drive just to the right side. And it stays at 2-0.
But yes, the referee was definitely being very lenient there. Castillo comes right back on after the yellow card. Yellow cards only require you to be off for 1 play. But in my opinion, he probably should have been still stuck on the bench with a red card, in my opinion. From up here, maybe definitely from down there, your foot comes off the floor. You got to be very careful with it, especially at the head level. And it just looked very dangerous.
Doesn't seem to require any long-lasting sentiment, though, as these two teams play on. Tarsatana, shot gets blocked. In on it was Coran, and that will be offside. Offside is the call. But, yeah, you were talking about PowerPoints. As much as we try to navigate the world of PowerPoints, we just can tell you how it is, and we just can tell you what the current bracket looks like. The PowerPoints end on Saturday. Now, Deptford is not in the Coaches Cup, and they are. This is their last scheduled regular season game of the year. They have Lenape on Saturday in the second round of the Coaches Cup, and then they have Eastern on Thursday the 30th to close out their regular season. But as it stands right now, Washington Township is the 1 seed. They have 1.2 PowerPoints up on number 2 Cherry Hill East, and if the season ended today, Township would play number 16 Vineland 4-9-4 on the campaign for the Fighting Clan in their first round playoff game in Mount Royal. As this one will roll over for Township, the defenseman is there. But then Deptford, again, they are still going to be clanging for a Group 3 playoff game. They're number 8. They would play Absegami, which is a team that they have not played, but a team that Washington Township did play, and they won 3-0. For South Jersey Group 4 as it stands, the top 4 is Township, Cherry Hill East, EHT, and Cherokee. 5 through 8 is Southern, GCIT, Eastern, and Toms River North. 9 through 12 is Lenape, Atlantic City, Kingsway, who we have not seen them for boys soccer this year, and then Bridgeton. And then the last 4 in the playoffs would be Williamstown, Pensauken, ACIT, and Vineland. Township with some space, turning around, keeps it on the ground. Deptford deflects, and it's out of play towards Ed McCusker. Substitution for Township, number 17, Herbalife back in the game. And then for Group 3, as it stands at the moment, top 4 is Morristown at 15-2. They've got 3 PowerPoints up on the number 2, Toms River East. And then Toms River South is 3, Shawnee is 4. 5 through 8 is Delsea, Ocean City, Mainland, and Deptford. Then 9 through 12, Absegami, Lacey, CCTS, and Timber Creek. And the last 4 in the playoffs, Cherry Hill West, Hamilton, Winslow, and Clearview at 5 and 10. So Deptford would play Absegami if the season ended today, but Deptford would definitely get a PowerPoints boost by beating a group up on them, and a team as good as Washington Township, who has not lost a game since September the 8th when they fell 4-1 to a top-ranked Shawnee program. That one is man, he fell on it.
Doesn't look good.
Yeah, he might be down. Waiting to hear if they'll stop the clock.
Referee's checking on him. He hasn't signaled it. Now he's stopped the clock.
Now they will stop the clock. They'll stop it at 26:37. I never saw a signal from the sideline or a whistle to stop the clock. It was just somewhat of a verbal command, but
looks like that's thankfully a cramp.
Yeah.
And that's something to look out for, especially at any level, but the professional level as well. It affects everybody with this artificial turf, ligament injuries and like Achilles injuries, ACL, MCL. They've all grown significantly over the years with this more active use of turf. And thankfully, it looks like it might be just a cramp, or maybe it could just be an ankle injury. They're stretching it out.
I mean, he is standing. Enzo Castillo, who has been one of the leading offenders, leading offensive weapons for Deptford, but he is going to be sat on the medical cart. And now they're going to make a change there. So can't tell who they're going to have come in as a substitution, but that is a big break against Deptford. Never want to see it. But Enzo Castillo runs into some trouble, runs into an injury. And again, that's just going to be a rough break for Deptford. Already down 2-0. They needed a guy like Castillo to be an X factor just with how quick he is. Lining over to grab that one is Joel Kissy. This will be a throw. It'll actually be thrown by number 12, John Collier. Collier gets this one back. Clock running again. Backpedaling on that one. Cockrell almost lost his balance. Now the shot, no good. From Ethan Cooney. This one will go out past the far flag, almost out of the exit gate. And this will be a kick from inside the box for Washington Township. Keeps it slow on the ground. And now driving quickly on the far sideline, already getting past the middle of the pitch. Deptford on the left side with possession. Now they're driving. They've got a good chance for Gabe Stone. He comes in, and having to stop on a dime to avoid contact with the goalkeeper is Ethan Cooney, who had that last shot. Now back over for Township. Number 6, Trey Agan, one of the captains of this Ed McCusker-led squad. Last year, Washington Township went 13-4-3. They started off the year with 2 ties, but then at a very similar stretch like they did here, winning 10 in a row from September the 11th last year to October the 19th. Finishing the regular season at 10-5, or excuse me, 10-2-1. They then played in the Coaches Cup, beat West Deptford, lost to Haddon Township, and then lost in the second round as the number 1 seed to Central Regional in a big upset, 3-2. That final round ended up being a battle of mid-major seeds. Number 4 Southern beat number 7 Toms River North 6-3 to win the South Jersey Group 4 sectional. Here we go for Township. That one's out of play. That's one thing that always trips people up about the geographical alignments of playoff brackets in any sport other than football, because the Shore Conference a lot of times has some teams picked for South Jersey selections, like Barnegat, Central Regional, Manchester Township sometimes. You see teams like Southern Regional, the Toms River schools, Toms River South, Toms River North. But you also have to consider that Toms River is further south than Burlington Township if you just drew a straight line across New Jersey. And then Barnegat, and actually Manahawkin, which is where Southern Regional is, Manahawkin is further south than Lindenwold. That is kind of how the geography of New Jersey works, and that's why you always see some odd matchups when it comes to South Jersey playoffs. Oh, hold on here. Looks like Township will have the throw. It was originally going to be made by Ethan Cooney for Deptford, but now the throw will be brought in by Washington Township's Maximo Maletta. They wanted a handball there that time. But again, Township with 13 wins last year, 18 wins the year prior in 2023. That one took a hard deflection. Now it's rolling out to the right side and over to Jaden Duke. Far sideline. Out of play, Township throw. Far side again, Deptford looking to defend. Anderson looking to get a piece of it. That one is deflected and out of play. You're watching coverage of Tri-County Boys Soccer here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. This broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, New Jersey's premier pro wrestling organization with high-flying events and nonstop entertainment throughout the Garden State, as Gabe Stone will send this one away. For more information, visit dawgprowrestling.com. That's the plaque outside of Deptford High School. And during our ad read, this is why it's dangerous to do ad reads during the game, because we just saw 2 saves while we were focused on that introductory plaque that you see when you enter Joe Corby and Jim Hawkins Stadium. This one will be a good opportunity for Deptford to try to get some leverage here. Down by 2. Cooney over to Cockrell, not having possession. Now on the near corner, he goes down, and Township able to get it out. But it's going to be a tough situation either way. Now it'll be over to John Collier, who will throw. Ooh, look at this. Cockrell getting it up in the air behind him. It's deflected up. He falls back, unable. Now it's back over to Anthony Schilling. Now they're kind of working backwards here. Township trying to make him uncomfortable. Tarsatana's got it. Now Tarsatana's got possession, and he's got a lot of room. He's at midfield, works it across the middle, and now they're unable to keep this ball in their possession if their lives depended on it. Collier sends this one deep, and it's over to the right side for Jaden Duke, the second leading goal scorer on this team outside of Kenny Cockrell with 24. Duke has 7. Now right side for Ethan Cooney. Township hugging the line. and forced out that time. We'll have a substitution ready to come in. Number 13, John D'Antonio subs out Sean Tarsitana. Making sure they have the right personnel for the throw. It comes in. Headed over for Township. Couple of touches there. Township wanted a handball, didn't get it. Now it's over to Cockrell. Look at this footwork here. He goes down, and now on a slide, they're able to keep this play alive as Landon Heil, kind of in a fading moment as he was going down to the ground, was able to scoop the ball out and was able to get it away. Now it's Township's possession. They're continuing to dominate here in the second half. Now rolling over. Henry almost out of the box. He continues to leave, and that one is out of play. Right side of the goalkeeper. And that is not going to be an easy pill to swallow for Washington Township there, as they have had so many good possessions back and forth, and a lot of great possessions that have gone their way. This is going to be, looks like a corner kick. It'll be sent by Colin Furman. 2 assists for him this year in his first varsity season as a junior. Does not have any career goals, and has not had an assist of any kind since September the 16th in a 6-0 win over Highland. Good boot. Too much on it. Now it's brought back, and it's through the goalposts, but of the wrong sport. And it remains 2-0.
That was a great ball to the back post. Wide open was Aiden Anderson. He just swung it back, and I couldn't see who missed it just in front, but he just couldn't keep it down enough, and it just flung through the uprights for a goal kick.
Deptford sends it out with Mason Henry. Halfway through the second half, 18 and a half minutes remaining in the ball game. Again, our last regular season soccer game of the year will be versus Burlington Township and Cinnaminson on Monday the 27th. Opening kick 3:45 on Monday. And then for the rest of this week, we'll be back at Cinnaminson tomorrow as well for a battle between none other than Burlington Township and Cinnaminson in our last Thursday night football game of the year. We are proud to say that Washington Township, folks, if you voted for Timber Creek at Washington Township for our fan vote game, you got it. On Friday, we'll see the Timber Creek Chargers and the Washington Township Minutemen at Tom Brown Field for a 6 o'clock kick on Friday night the 24th. We've got a whistle and a foul. So that'll be a 6 o'clock kick for our last regular season Friday night game, and then we close out the regular season in a Group 1 battle between Shalleck and Woodbury on Saturday, October the 25th. Good boot that time by Washington Township, headed forward. Now spinning around, unable to get there. Furman back in. Right side for the sophomore. No. Deflected by Collier. And now another aggressive header that's unable to get any leverage on it is Owen Curran. And again, Deptford trying to just put too many steps into their footwork. They keep turning it over. Right side. Headed up by Collier. Out of play. That's going to go into the football grandstands. In front of a good crowd here tonight. Right side. Over towards the 40-yard line now. This one's going to flip the field. Gabe Stone going well out of the box. He will roll all the way out there. But he's got the space and unwilling to leave himself vulnerable. Of course, when we saw Washington Township earlier this year versus Delsea, they went up 5-2. After going down 2-0 in the first half, Washington Township came back. I believe it was 2-0 at halftime, and it was 2-1 at halftime. And then Washington Township scored 4 unanswered goals to preserve a win on their senior night by a score of 5-2. This one is sent out. Again, Washington Township's defensive line. Look at this. That was a high kick there. Washington Township wanted a call, didn't get it. Now keeping it on the ground here. And again, the potential offender was Joel Kesey, but seemed like you didn't agree that Township should have gotten a call there.
It's debated. That's going to be a foul. Yeah, he shoved him down at the end of that play. It's a free kick in a very nice spot. But, yeah, that last play, it can go either way with any referee. It's whatever they deem as dangerous play. I guess I didn't think he was too close to make that call with the boot. But thankfully, he played on. Deptford's not going to really, or Washington Township, they might complain about it now. Thinking about this in retrospect.
Now that there's a little bit of better leverage here for Deptford, this is going to be a free kick. And as you said, you're right, it's in very good position here. It will again be Owen Curran to take the shot. Liner. Stone. Where is it? It's in. Goal, Deptford. They're back in it. Last touch by number 12, John Collier. And it's 2-1. With 15 minutes left, that changes a lot in the retrospect of this game. And they cut the lead in half with a goal from Collier on the free kick. Great stuff there from the Spartans.
That's only John Collier's second career goal for the sophomore. He has now 2 goals and 2 assists in his career. And Gabe Stone, he got a piece of it, kind of batted it to the side. It couldn't really fall on it. The turf, this is what we were talking about earlier. It hits the turf no matter at what pace it starts out with. It just keeps getting faster and faster. It slipped away, and Collier was there, right place, right time, and just tapped it in.
And now another man down as we come back from the replay of that goal for Collier. Keep the play going, though, with no stoppage. With Washington Township probably being a little bit upset about that no call that led to the Deptford free kick and then led to the goal. You got about 15 minutes where things could get interesting here.
Yeah, now we got a game on our hands. It looked like with the second half starting and that quick goal by Tarsatana in the second minute of the second half, it looked like this was just going to be all Township, but a great offensive pressuring throughout the rest of that after that goal for Deptford. And this time it paid off. They need to get a second goal if they want to try and salvage any sort of winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, Washington Township, it definitely looked like Stone was headed for another clean sheet on the board. He allowed a goal versus Lenape on Saturday the 18th in a 2-1 win, but otherwise he's had a lot of clean sheets so far this year, and now Stone picks up a can of corn. Line drive right to the left side as Township continuing to drive, but now Deptford forces a turnover with a lot of offensive space, and now Township on the defensive side. Here comes a line drive. Coming in was Curran, and it was blocked. Now Township taking their time. I think in the next couple of minutes, clock management is going to start becoming a factor now that this game is a 1-goal game, and an offside, handball rather, will be called.
It looked like it took a bounce off the turf real quick, and just his arm was too far extended out. That's going to be an easy handball call every day of the week.
That'll be out of play. Deptford will throw in with Ronnie Felix. But now a quick turnover, 3-on-1. Township kind of outmanned as the pass from El Barati to Tarsatana takes effect. On the ground on the left side. Now it's El Barati again. Keeps it on the air, spinning to the left side. Deptford able to get it out. Oh, and Kesey just could not keep himself composed there. Could not keep himself through. And a man down and a big hit. And a whistle to stop the clock.
Yeah, that's a yellow card for stopping a promising attack. It's a yellow card in any aspect of the sport, no matter what level. Ethan Cooney, it looked like it was on. Just a nice play, trying to start a quick counterattack. Was taken out. It's going to be a yellow card for Township.
Taking a look one more time here at this kind of sequence of events. Oh, yeah, it looked like he got hit pretty hard there. And it is a yellow card, the second to be called today. And with 12:25 remaining, Deptford will have some good space after the foul and the yellow card on Washington Township, but they will be able to keep the possession. A good volley back and forth to Saka. Shove in the back. That looked a little bit unnecessary.
Yeah, the referee says it's going to be a free kick coming out.
Yeah, that was from Angel Castellan on number 12. Being John Collier, who scored the first goal for the Spartans. And now it really seems like momentum is shifting in the favor of the Spartans. Township's getting upset. They're getting frustrated. And that's a great opportunity for Deptford to take advantage of those mistakes by solely being calm, cool, and collected. If you panic, it's kind of like, when you're talking to somebody and you show that you're panicked, you show that you're stressed, they're going to be stressed. They're going to be panicked. If you're angry, they're going to be angry. If you show as little emotion as you can, other than positive emotion, as long as you don't get in their head, they're going to let themselves break it down for you. Township with a good drive, head-to-head. And it looked like last touch by Township there. We'll see who gets the throw. It will be thrown in by number 4, being Noah Tennyson. Tennyson, 1 goal this year in a 6-0 win versus Cumberland early in September, and I think he sent that one out when it was out of bounds. This makes for a very interesting finish here. I mean, Washington Township will basically have to guard every single inch of the turf with this clock management in the last 10 minutes. It's going to come down to who can have more possessions. Can Deptford break through those offensive walls, or will Washington Township be able to hold off Deptford from getting any kind of momentum here in the last 10 and a half minutes of regulation? This one is popped up. Township with a bit of a flailing kick there as this one is sent up. High flyer from Maximo Maletta. On the ground now, still staying in the air though, rather. Tarsitana trying to get through. Rather Finnegan. Deflected on the ground. It is back to Tarsitana. Right side and out of play. Past Henry. Substitution, 1 on each side. Coming in for Deptford will be Christian Gonzalez. Coming in will be Aiden Anderson. And this is going to be a big power move for Washington Township to bring in your second leading goal scorer in the last 10 minutes. Just try to put all of your best foot forward, put all of your best men forward here in the last 10 minutes and try to shut out Deptford from getting any opportunities to tie this game. Deptford backpedaling here. This would be an easy gift for Washington Township if they're able to retain the possession, because that ball went way further back than they wanted it to on the ground. Now back over to Castellan. He's got a lot of space, the midfielder. Rolling forward, slide tackle, and no whistle. They keep it alive. Now rolling forward again. That was very close to being a massive collision with Landon Heil back in it. Rolling over 2-on-1. He's got Tarsitana looking for his third. This one is deep, and it's no good. Through the uprights, but not the ones you were looking for. 9 minutes remain. Rolling over to the left side. Looked like last touch was by Jaden Duke.
This is where Township's going to take their advantage. That ball was sent all the way back behind the bleacher. The bleacher just in front of the fence.
Yeah, you can kind of fumble with the ball long enough to really, get away with a couple extra seconds gone. Because that's one of those intangible things where the referee, they can enforce it a little bit, but I've never really seen a referee that has hampered very hard against wasting a lot of time. That one's right side. Anderson is there. Line drive, and it's saved by Mason Henry. Mason Henry. We talk about Gabe Stone and a wall of stone, but Mason Henry seems like he's imitating the Washington Township goalkeeper with a strong second-half performance on the defensive side. That's a big save to help shift the Deptford momentum. It seemed like everything was going Deptford's way. Now Township seeming to get a little bit of that dignity back as Tarsitana passes to Castellan, the junior midfielder. 1 goal, 3 assists for Castellan this year. Last goal was on October 6th at GCIT in a 3-2 win out of play. Coach Kevin Sherry deflects it to his man to throw it in, being Ronnie Felix. Felix, 3 goals, 4 assists for him this year. Last scored on Monday in a 3-1 win over Cumberland. Liner, good boot. Headed by Cockerill. Right side to the left of Stone, diving in.
It's going to be a yellow card.
That's going to be a yellow card.
Yellow card for Ethan Cooney.
So Ethan Cooney was the subject of a yellow card against the other team earlier after being tripped up, and now he is the, I guess you could say, plaintiff in a yellow card as he ends up picking up one against him. Let's take a look at that real quick on this possession here. Again, we're just talking about this possession, right side. Cockerill headed it up and then leans in with that shoulder and almost wiped Gabe Stone out from underneath him. We're able to come back just before the possession resets with Gabe Stone. Here we go. Stone with a strong boot. It's headed up by Schilling. And another hit. This is going to be how the tone of the night will be for the rest of the way. And if we go to overtime, you might see some extra fireworks heading your way. Just because these two teams, again, this is how you can make a rivalry out of nothing. I mean, these two teams are less than 10 minutes away from each other. You could probably go down Delsey Drive and find Washington Township High School very easily from Deptford. And even then, these two teams in boys soccer have zero prior history dating back to 2010. So you're seeing this now. Two teams that really seem to be in a groove here falling over. And a whistle as it looked like Schilling lost his footing. And now we're going to have more whistles because Schilling might have jumped the gun on the kick. It'll be free kicked from the football side, 55 yards away from the end zone. 5:45 and counting. Good boot there. It's going to miss everybody. Now it goes over to Cockerill. Gets a shove in. Was able to get that ball out. Now Collier's there. Able to lock out the defender. That being Colin Furman. Now on the right side. Washington Township has possession over the middle. It's Belsanti. Back to Furman. Over to Finnegan. Now another chance. Here's Anderson looking for a dagger. Got one man behind him. One to his side. Deflects it out. Nobody's home, but it's back to Tarsatana in the end zone on the baseline. They're going to bring it out to the far flag. A little bit of contact there. Running in. Belsanti gets a shot deflected. Now this one's popped up in the air. Over to Schilling. And it will stay up. Right in front of Tarsatana, and it's out of play. Under 5 minutes to play here in Deptford. You know, we've covered a lot of soccer games that end 5-1, 6-1, 7-0. You've called your fair share. This is why we still cover it, because of games like this that are great all the way down to the final whistle. Washington Township rolling through. Anderson. He's got it. Anderson in heavy traffic, unable to hang on to the footing, unable to hang on to the possession, but Washington Township gets it right back on the defensive line. Back over to Belsanti, right side, fading kick backwards. It's Tarsatana out towards the far sideline, and defending him was Noah Tennyson. This will be a throw by Robbie Finnegan, and you got to imagine he's not exactly going to rush this one. 4 minutes remaining. It's almost like taking a knee. This one's popped up. Finnegan's going to get it back. Almost cleat-to-cleat contact with Finnegan and Owen Curran. Now on the ground for Township. Left side for Castellan. Cuts to the right once more. Tries to work it through the Deptford traffic, but they're unable. Can Deptford continue to drive here? Washington Township's defense has been really impressive. Now he's got 2-on-1. He's fading towards the Minutemen sideline. He's got some contact. He's got some touching on the jersey. Now it's going to be another run. He's 1-on-1. Shot way out of town.
That looked like the defender just made enough recovery. It's going to be cleared out. Instead of a shot, that was a clearance. Cleared all the way out. It's going to be a corner in the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds for Deptford. This is where...
How about Ronnie Felix, though?
Great run by him.
That was fantastic. Even as he was getting tugged from behind, this free kick, or the corner kick, will be taken by Owen Curran. Not wasting any time here. It's deflected up. Oh, it's off the field goal crossbar. Not the one you were looking for. Score remains 2-1. Wow, and that gives a gift to Washington Township with how much time there is left. It is not going to be easy for Deptford to get this one back unless Township makes a mistake. Kesey with running in quickly, and now it goes right back to Deptford. It goes right back to Felix. He gets tripped up, and that'll be a whistle. Much to the dismay of Ed McCusker, this will be a free kick for Deptford with 2:15 and counting. Oh, boy. Already 2 yellow cards in this game, and a handful of free kicks. Now it's Curran headed. No! Cockerell couldn't get number 25. Another big break as Township and Deptford going back and forth at the penultimate moments of this game.
That was the moment that Cockerell has been waiting for this entire match. He was wide open. It was a great ball by Curran on the free kick. Great run. Took it quickly. Quick enough for the Township defense to not be awake enough. Cockerell just gets a piece of it, but it wasn't enough. It went well wide, enough for Gabe Stone to really not think it was a threat. But that was the moment that he's been waiting for.
Now Township, oh, he went down, but I don't think there was contact. And now a little bit of a, let's see here.
It's going to be a free kick for Township.
Yeah, but every second is going to matter here. There's a minute 20. And Township, with a player down,
he's going to stop the clock.
They're going to stop the clock with a minute 18.
You can only waste enough time before the referees.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do before that ends up being an issue. I've also noticed that the referees they don't put their hands in an X signal. Maybe the one downfield did, but when you're in a press box, that's hard to see. I couldn't even see it. This one is sent away. Back to Castellan. He's got some space. Township looking for a dagger, and even if they don't score, they want a defensive stop after the free kick. Deptford driving with Felix. 3-on-1. 1 minute remaining and counting. The Corby Hawkins Stadium scoreboard showing the clock. Dive! 3 men down. And where will this go? This will be Washington Township, it looks like. They're now down to 40 seconds. This might take away any opportunity Deptford has to tie this game. With this being a free kick, they'll be able to take almost half of what Deptford has off the board with just this one free kick.
If they're smart enough, they would just play this into the corner, wasting more time instead of getting a shot.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, there you go.
They're just gonna tap this one back and forth. Play a little bit of hacky sack for the last 15 seconds of this one. Man down, 2 men down, another whistle. And with 12 seconds left, Township gets a big break. Their JV team joined them in the grandstands, and Washington Township continuing a month-long run of great soccer. They get one last shot off, and that's the final. Washington Township 2, Deptford 1 in a hard-fought 80 minutes here from Deptford and Corby Hawkins Stadium. That was fantastic. As Washington Township, again, John Tarsitana with 2 goals, a 2-1 win. John Collier gets the 1 goal for Deptford. That was just a fantastic showing by Washington Township in their offensive and defensive fronts.
All around, it was very, very fluent game of soccer, and is one of the best that we've covered so far this year. I'm very happy to be a part of that one. Township, great resilience. They put a stop to Deptford, who has really put the pressure on this entire game from start to finish. There really wasn't a break for Deptford to really stop putting on the pressure. Even in the first couple of minutes, Cockerell, like I mentioned early on, he had like 3 or 4 shots about that from 20, 25 yards away, testing Matt Stone. Nothing got really going for Deptford on offense, but on defense, they did very well. Despite letting up the 2 goals, they were 2 great finishes. And all around, it was a very good game of soccer. Very well played for both teams. Township, that's a big morale booster heading into the Coaches Cup against Lenape on Saturday. And after this game, this is the last regular season matchup, at least for
Deptford.
For Deptford, before the PowerPoint cutoff on Saturday.
And that loss could be the difference depending on what Absegami does, depending on whoever they have in Group 3 does. That's a big break for Washington Town. I mean, it's not as much of a break. They've got a number 1 seed. Probably they'll get something more with the Coaches Cup. But for Deptford, this was a game that mattered a lot more to them. Even without any history, playing a group up and getting a win versus them would have been huge. And not only that, it would have been a big statement win. And it probably would have secured Deptford having a first-round home game. If you're Deptford, you see who 7 through 11 are, and you see what's in your kind of zone, what's in your, I guess you could say, in your ballpark. Like, you're like, okay, we're not going to play the 1 seed. We're not going to play the 2 seed. But you have to consider where you're going to go for seeds 7 through 10 or whatnot. And when we're looking at South Jersey Group 3, you would much rather prefer to stay home and play Absegami than travel an hour down the Atlantic City Expressway to Mays Landing to play Absegami. Or Lacey, that's an hour and a half. Behind them is CCTS, that's not as far, but you know what the stakes are, and you know the fact that if you're Deptford, you're clinging on to that last home game, and that would be huge for you to have that in the first round for an otherwise successful Kevin Sherry program, which falls to 11-4-1 this year. Washington Township with Ed McCusker at the helm as the number 1 seed in South Jersey Group 4 improves to 14-1-2, still being unbeaten since September the 8th. That'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Our next stream will have Chase Parson on the lead tomorrow at Cinnaminson between the Burlington Township Falcons and the Cinnaminson Pirates. Kickoff at 6 o'clock, pregame show at 5:50. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Vandrell, Caleb Lane, and Carson Rosso, my color commentator, Chase Parson. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow from Cinnaminson. Washington Township wins an instant classic versus Deptford 2-1 over the Spartans. Have a good one, folks.